Well, Alexia, welcome to Us Weekly. It's so good to see you. I'm so happy to have our Miami girls back on the screen. I feel like it was a long wait.
So I feel just like you, that it's been way too long. And I feel like the fans also do. Yes. And we just have to do it quicker. I just feel like sometimes when we wait a little longer, like the stories develop a little bit more and you get better content.
Sure, yeah. Do you feel like this helped the group as a whole too?
This particular season, it could have. Sure. You know, I feel like sometimes you do need like that little break in between to kind of like reconnect and just, you know, let life happen. And that's what you get to see this season.
That's what exactly.
Life definitely happened.
Life definitely
Some to more than others.
Yeah, yeah. What's it been like? Did you watch back the first episode? What was that like for you?
I did. You know, it was very emotional.
Yeah.
You know, it's been over a year. And to me, that's like the hardest part. You know, when you kind of like think that you left it behind and it's over, you have to relive this moment again. So it's definitely really hard for me to see that.
No, definitely. Because the cameras picked back up, right? Because when everything was going on, because we weren't like fully in production yet, right? Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of did. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you notice?
I noticed.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say it or not.
No. I think there's like timestamps and time jumps and things like that.
Right.
So
they do a good job, like, you know, showing the audience that obviously this was in April, you know, when this happened. And when we started filming again, it was a few months later.
Yeah. What was the hardest part for you to watch back in that moment?
Oof. I mean, just everything. I guess seeing me like broken. Even now talking about it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely. But you know what I love?
You know, I'm stronger now. So like I saw it, but I couldn't help to see myself that way. And like it took me back to that day and that pain.
Yeah, well, watching something like that, so traumatic, it triggers you all over again, just when you think you're past it.
I know,
when you're forced to watch it back, you're like, why are you doing this to me?
And it's funny enough, you know, I've never watched the show, and I've always said it.
Okay.
Which is probably negligence on my part, because I feel like I should watch it so I can see how I'm being edited, or what I really said, or what the girls are saying about me, or whatnot. So this, so you know, is the first season in 7 seasons that I've watched my show. I watched episode 1 and I'll watch episode 2.
Why did you want to watch it? Why did you want to watch it this time?
You know, well, I'm going to tell you the real truth. It's really silly, but I saw a clip. So Julie and I are good friends now. Yeah. But, you know, everyone knows that, you know, we went through some, you know, moments there together. And I saw a clip that was like circulating on social media about a barracuda, like me being a barracuda. And I always kind of thought that it was Nicole that had called me a barracuda, because I remember her calling me that at the reunion. But it stems from Julia. Julia at some point called me a barracuda, like in her confessional, or while we were filming. I tuned it out, never saw it. And I was like, oh my God, like she called me a barracuda. And I was like, you know, I really need to watch, because I need to know what they're saying behind my back in the confessionals. You know, and this was a really difficult season for me. So I really need to watch. You know, I feel like it's good for my awareness. It's good for my self-reflection. It's good for my growth. So for my personal reasons, I need to watch to see how far I've come. Yeah. And with the girls, you know, just like to see what kind of shit they're talking behind my back, so I can be ready for the reunion.
100%. You know who else never watches the show? Teresa, Giudice.
I know, right? And that's why they think we're sisters. Right? Yeah. You know, first of all, I can't stand my voice, and then I can't listen to myself. And then I'm very critical about the way I look. Oh my God, my neck, my angle. And, you know, and then I say, oh, I could have said this. Why did I say that? So, you know, it's hard for me to watch. So it's just easier to avoid it. And like I always say, and I think Teresa and I have discussed this, that we're like, we were there. We know what happened. And then I guess sometimes you see it play out a little different, or, you know, you don't have time for the whole story. That is the truth. Sure. So our scene may be like 2 hours. It was a lot, but, you know, by the time they put everything together, it's like 3 minutes. So the viewers don't get to see the whole story. But I'm watching, so be careful.
Be careful. Watch out for this reunion. It's going to be a whole new Alexia. Yeah. What is it about your friendship with Teresa that made you click with her?
You know, I feel like everyone would see those similarities. And we did something together. We worked together. And we just like fell in love with each other, because we did see that, you know, that we had so many things in common. And I think what I love the most about her is her relationship with her daughters, because I have that relationship with my sons, and she's just so loving, and she's so nurturing, and she's so sweet and nice. Like she really is.
She is, yeah.
And she's so nice to her fans. You know, I've been out with her, and she's just very, very loving. Like I see her like as a kind person. And yeah, she has her crazy side, and so do I.
Yeah. You got to recruit her down to Miami.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people that want to go to Miami.
I feel like
they could go to Miami, but not to our show.
There's no room at the end.
Yeah.
Right?
We're already 9 girls. We don't need any more.
Well, Bethenny's moving down there too. I don't know if she'd return to Housewives, but
I don't think we would want her there either. I mean, why? Like, she's not Miami.
Right. You got to be from Miami. You have to have Miami roots, right?
Yes, for sure. You know, Miami's become a very transient city.
Totally.
You know, and I love that and I welcome that. But, you know, when you're going to be in this kind of show, I feel like you have to be like a real Miami.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have, like you said, your roots there. I feel like we have a new girl on the show, Stephanie. She's definitely Miami, and she's bringing that Miami drama, and I love it. I think she's been a great addition to the show. She comes full of energy. She's very opinionated. She has a very strong entrance. Some I like it, some don't. But I think she's great. So you see, she represents Miami. So somebody like her is like always welcome. She has an opulent lifestyle, and it's been a lot of fun to get to know her.
Yeah, it seems like the two of you may clash a little bit.
Yeah, because we're both alphas.
Okay.
So we're both alphas, and you know what? She needs to calm down, because I've been here for a long time. I've taken a lot of punches. So you're just not gonna like come in and like, you know, take my crown. Like we all have crowns, right? But we have to respect each other.
Yes.
And you know, you can keep yours, but don't try to take mine off, right? So, but we figure it out. You'll have to like watch and see, because, you know, she does bring a lot to the group, and it's really been great filming with her.
How did friendships shift for you this season? I mean, we see in the first episode everybody rallying around you and things like that, but obviously drama is going to unfold and ensue. So,
well, I mean, fortunately for me, I'm getting along with everyone, because that's who I really am.
Yeah.
And I love that my friendships with, you know, all the ladies is much stronger this season. And they really did rally for me, and you know, they have my back, and they've been very supportive and loving and understanding and not so judgmental, because you know, I think at the end of the day, we're all women and we've been in love, and you know, relationships are the way they are, and you have to respect it. And yes, you can have an opinion and give advice, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm going to make that decision for myself.
Sure, of course.
But it's nice to know that I have that support. And I think that's the only way that I could have done this. I mean, my friends are like my family, and they've been by my side the entire time. And it's been great. So I do get closer to the girls, because I see that side to them. Even Adriana's being nice to me. Yeah, I mean, when Adriana's being nice to me, you know it's going to be a great season. So yeah, I you know, my relationships with all the girls have stronger. You're going to see also like a lot of the ones that were like stronger before are not as strong, you know, and that's like the power of like this group, you know, that we, you know, are friends. And, you know, one season and then we're not, because like I said, life happens, things happen, and it changes the relationship. So there's definitely shifts in friendships. I don't know. I just think it's the best season. I'm telling you,
I'm so excited.
Good. Yeah, it's so good. And I'm like, maybe now that I'm watching, I'm going to even like love it even more. Because, you know, sometimes it's hard when you're in it, you know, and my stories have always been very personal, very emotional. And so it's hard. It's hard for me to watch, because, you know, I don't want to feel that pain again.
Of course.
So, you know, hopefully, you know, the next couple of episodes, you know, I'll start like having fun. But you know, that's the thing about our show. That 1 minute we're like, 1 minute we're crying, and the other minute we're laughing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know, is that every friend group? Like, I think we're kind of crazy like that, right? After you get it out, right?
Yes.
After you get it out, you're like, woof, that felt good. Okay, now we can hug it out and kiss, whatever. So I just think we have like a really great season coming up, and a great group of women, you know, that really love and support each other. We have our differences, and, you know, we fight like sisters, and we love like sisters too. And I think that that's what like really makes us, you know, unique and fun to watch.
Definitely. So the boys are doing good?
Yeah, Frankie's doing great. Frankie loves participating in the show.
Good, yes. We always love seeing him.
Yeah, and he's so refreshing. And now we just like started doing TikTok, and he loves it.
Good.
You know, people love to see us together, because, you know, I feel like the show only gets to show, you know, some of our life. Obviously, it's only 3.5 months whenever the cameras are here. So you don't get to really see, you know, who we are or how we are. Or it's just like a little piece. So I feel like with TikTok, you know, people are getting to really know like my relationship, like, you know, day to day with Frankie, and he really loves it. He loves being in front of the camera.
I love that so much. So how are things with you and Todd? The two of you are back together, correct?
Things are good. You know, it's a work in progress. You know, we're working on us, and you know, it's really hard when you're showing your life on TV and with the world. You know, I feel like, you know, you see like the highs and lows, but you don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
You know, only he and I know the whole story and know the real story. And yeah, so it's been really difficult.
Yeah.
It's been really difficult because, like I said, this is like my real life and it's playing out on TV, but that's like how it happened. And I'm raw and I'm real and I'm genuine. Yeah. So you guys will get to see that, you know, you'll get to see the ebbs and flows like every relationship, because in every relationship there's conflict. And if not, it's not a real relationship. Yeah. You know, how many times have you had fights and said things that out of anger or out of pain, and, you know, after you're like, you make up and, you know, you go on with your lives and you continue to love each other.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're figuring it out. So, I mean, it's no secret that Todd does not like the show.
Yeah.
He just does not want to have any part of it. But ironically, that happened while I was filming the show. So, and I'm in a reality show. So there was no way that I could have not shown that part of my life, because it was happening in my real life. So, you know, I was put in a position that I had to do it. And now that, for me, it was like therapeutic, you know, just talking about it, like with my friends. So he's not going to love it, obviously. And, you know, I don't even know what to say. Like, I know he's not going to love it. And, you know, and I'm sorry for that. But again, you know, I was put in this situation and I was just, you know, sharing my story. Like I said, you unfortunately only see like the highs and lows. You know, you don't get to see the whole story. You know, I mean, you know, my relationship with him is beautiful in many other ways, but you're unfortunately only seeing like the bad.
Do you ever see yourself stepping away from the show to focus
You know,
on that?
I considered it actually this season for him, because he didn't want me to do the show.
Okay.
But that never happened. You know, like when I did tell him, and you'll see it in the scene, you know, when I'm telling the girls, I told them that I would step down and I would not do the show anymore, because my personal life has always been more important than my professional life. And he said it was too late. He's like, first he said it was too late. I hadn't even signed my contract. And he's like, it's too late. And then after, he said that I was going to resent him if I made that decision for him. And, you know, I don't know that I believe that. But you know, it ended like that. So, you know, like I said, you know, my decision was, you know, to make the show, to do the show, because I thought it was what's best for me.
Sure.
And sometimes you have to think about yourself.
100%. And then
Not
you're raw.
sometimes, all the time.
All the time, but you're raw, you're vulnerable, and that's what people
and you know,
love
and I'm in love.
connect.
And, you know, and like you do things for love that maybe after you regret. And I've never regretted anything, not for love or for anything. That's just the way that I am. And I think that that's why I live my life differently from other people. And I always, you know, I'm like happy, even though my world may be falling apart. Inside, I'm always grateful and happy. But I did want to do that for him. But I just feel like that wasn't going to be good enough either. So I had to make that decision for me and for my family and what was best for us.
Yeah. Do your boys have a relationship with him still?
Frankie does. And, you know, Peter and Todd always had like a relationship. They did have, you know, that issue. But, and unfortunately, you know, that was on TV. And I think that was one of the things that turned them off from reality TV. And, but no, I mean, they get along. You know, my boys want me to be happy. They know everything that we've gone through as a family. And they want for me the same thing I want for them, to be healthy and happy. And they will respect whatever decision I make, because they know it's my life and I'm always going to be a great mother to them.
Yeah, no matter what.
No matter
first.
what.
Yeah.
They're my priority. They come first. And they've always known that. Yeah. So, you know, it's not like I have to divide or share my love. You know, I have so much love to give, you know, to my boys, to whatever man I'm with, or, you know, to my friends and to my family. I just have so much room for everybody in my heart. And I really mean it. You know, like,
you can tell.
I really mean it.
You radiate love, which I love so much. Do you want to are you working towards marriage again? Or is it, like you said, kind of a day-by-day process?
I think it's a day-by-day process. You know, I'm like, you know, when I'm like, you know, feeling it, whatever, I'm like, oh yeah, I would get married again. But you know what? Right now it's working for us.
Good.
Right now it's working for us. And we needed that distance. We needed to be apart. You know, I don't think I could have filmed the show, you know, living together. So it's working for us.
Living together now?
No, not living together.
Lisa and Larsa, where do you see this friendship going?
You know, it's very unfortunate, and I am not on either one's team. I feel like they're both wrong and they need to learn and listen to each other like real friends do. You know, I get it. It was a misunderstanding. They didn't communicate properly. I don't think it'll ever go back to the same because, you know, Larsa is very tough that way. You know, like she never expected her friend to do that to her. So she's seeing it her way. Lisa, on the other hand, is, you know, seeing it a different way, supporting her man. So they're kind of like, I don't think you guys are going to have to watch, you know, because again, there's this like highs and lows. One moment they're getting along, but another moment they're throwing digs at each other. So, yeah, their friendship, you know, I don't want to say that it's over, but it's going to be very different. It's going to take a lot for them to get back to where they were.
And then Gertie and Julia, is that a big misunderstanding?
There's so much, right? I don't know why women are so complicated, I swear, right? I don't have those issues with the girls. But yeah, so Gertie and Julia is a little bit more complicated. I think there's a little bit more there than what you're seeing. You know, maybe Julia's going to have a hard time explaining it. But I feel like there's more there. But I think that their friendship is more repairable than Larsa and Lisa because I think their issue is more superficial. You know, and that's what you don't get. When you really fight hard and below the belt and you say, you know, really mean things, you know, to somebody that you love, that I don't even know how that happens because you really love and care for the person, you can't say some of these things these women say. It's hard to go back. You know, it's hard to go back. I feel like Gertie and Julia can because it was, you know, there were some ugly things there that happened, but like it wasn't that bad. And it was kind of for like, it was like a dumb thing that happened. You know, it wasn't like very deep. But Larsa and Lisa's issue was a little bit deeper. Because, you know, of course, it had to do with relationships, you know, and things that are more meaningful and whatnot. So, you know, I get it. But, you know, we'll see. We have a great season.
I can't wait.
We really have to watch. Episode 2 is incredible. And yeah, I hope you guys like it.
It's going to be a wild ride.
And I hope we're back soon again because we're ready.